I'm sure you can recognize this set if you were into art when you were a child. I'm sure you're also traumatized. I'm pretty sure this is the first art set I ever owned. Obviously not this one, I bought this one last month. But the same kind of concept of the coloring pencils, the very dead markers, oil pastels. Are these crayons? These horrible paints? And who knows what else is in here. So it's time to go down memory lane. I'm going to attempt to create art, professional art, using kids' art supplies. So, let's go. Hey people, it's Temi. If you're new here, I know it's been a while, but please, your girl is here, your girl is back. And today I'm going straight into these supplies. I'm going to test them out, see how they actually apply, and then we can decide what we can create with these. Oh, it actually applies kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'm not loving this red though. I don't love the length. I feel like it's a bit awkward to hold. It just feels a little bit short. But I guess for children's hands, it's probably big enough. I don't know why this isn't in order though. Am I the only one that simply has to reorganize everything in a nice aesthetic gradient? The jumbled up colors is absolutely not the one. Much better. Now for the markers. Again, let me rearrange this. Much better. I don't know why they don't just order it aesthetically. Okay, and now let's swatch it. Each marker is a regular bullet nib, and I'm not mad at this. It's very pigmented. I'm pleasantly surprised. And now for the oil pastels and crayons. Quickest organization ever. Okay, these feel awful, but they are crayons. Yeah, there's really nothing good about these. Ooh, the oil pastels actually feel nice. They feel so good. And I'm an avid oil pastel hater. So that is really saying something. They feel so good. Like, look at that pigmentation of the blue. It feels silly. And the last thing is this. I don't even know, is this watercolor? But this is cute. This is like the palette that you mix with. This is the most disgraceful part of this set. Do you call this a brush? I can't begin to explain to you how hard these bristles are. This is awful. I've got some water. It barely collected water, so it's barely collecting pigment. This is the biggest letdown of this set. The worst brush ever. I don't understand why they include this. So I'm gonna use this Craft Armor brush instead. And it really is just a world of difference. It's so sheer, like, but the paint quality doesn't seem that bad. If you guys know, I'm not a painter at all, so I'm definitely using the wrong paper. I just don't have the right paper at home. But I'm not mad at it. And lastly, it's got some scissors. These scissors are so tiny. I wonder if they cut things. It's so stiff. But I guess it does the job. A sharpener, and there is a pencil in here as well. So it's either the sharpness not great, the pencil's not great, but I'm not gonna fight with this. Not sure what this is. Is this glue? PVA, is this PVA glue? I feel like it might be. That's cute. And then eraser. It's also got a ruler and a little stapler, which is actually cute. And here are all the swatches. Am I deluded in thinking these weren't that bad? Maybe I'll regret that later. But the rainbow vibe is making me feel like going for something colourful. And I've had this reference picture on my TBR. What's an artist version of a TBR? On my to-draw list for a very long time. So today is the day. We'll see how that goes. Speaking of kids' art supplies, I want to tell you about some fun projects that are perfect for kids. KiwiCo curate these monthly crates to help kids of all ages have fun while learning. Kids are able to get involved in an array of hands-on projects. And I want to show you the 2 crates that I've got. I picked up the Maker crate, which is for art and design, and this one is aged 14 plus. This month, we're making electroluminescent sculptures. Obviously, you already know I'm an engineering babe, so you already know I had to go straight for the STEM box. This is the Tinker crate, which is the science and engineering one. And this one is a make it yourself bottle rocket. This is for ages 9 plus. Imagine yourself or your kids or your friend's kid every single month engaging in a new project. I'm having so much fun putting these together. This is something I really wish I had when I was younger. It has high quality materials and the results are truly splendid. These crates make the perfect gifts. KiwiCo believe it's important to make STEAM education accessible to all kids. Subscriptions are only $20 a month. And with my discount code TEMI, you can get 50% off your first box. I think it's such an amazing initiative, so shout out to KiwiCo. Thank you for sponsoring this video. And now let's try to create something using those useless kids' art supplies. I've grabbed my mixed media sketch pack. This is one of my favorites to use. It's from Arteza. I'll leave a link to all the supplies I use down in the description box, including supplies that I actually recommend because I do not recommend these kids' art supplies. But this book houses some of my favorite portraits that I've made. Also, this crayon lips. So that was with Crayola Crayon. Shout out to you if you know. This self-portrait, this colourful portrait. So basically, there's a lot of pressure doing my next piece of artwork in this book. Like I said, I'll be using this holographic hand reference. And the first thing I'm doing is to transfer the sketch. It's been a while that I've done a kind of drawing tutorial on this channel. But if you're familiar with my channel, you know that I love sketching on a separate bit of paper and then transferring it. And the same is the case today. So I'm using a graphite transfer sheet, and that way it's only the bits that are imprinted with the pen that transfer onto my sketchbook. I love this technique because it means if I ruin something and I want to start over, I've already got the sketch, I don't lose the sketch. And it just means I can be flexible with the sketch and I don't have to worry about rubbing out on the page too much. It genuinely makes my life easier. So with my sketch transferred, it's time to begin. I'm going to quickly use my kneaded eraser to get rid of these harsh lines, and let's begin. I'm going to start by using the markers. If you're familiar with my channel, you know markers and colour and pencil is my favourite combo. And I know recently I've been leaning into other mediums like gouache, cough cough, I will come back to that challenge soon, and even VR art. I've really been experimenting, but my favorite thing to use are markers and coloring pencils. However, I don't know what type of markers these are because these are not alcohol markers as far as I understand. They apply really weird and streaky, and it's very difficult to come up with one smooth motion, but I'm starting with the darkest blues in the piece, which is mostly around the outline of the hand, and going straight into some of the main lines within the hand. There are a few challenges for a piece like this. To create a holographic shiny effect, you need really good contrast, and contrast are the lights and darks in the piece. So you need the whitest whites remaining, but you also need the deepest, darkest blues or even blacks in the piece. With the color selection I'm given with this kids art kit, that's not going to be easy, so that's already going to form a challenge for me. But I'm going next by using the lightest blue for the lightest bits, leaving some bits white, but also going right next to the dark blue and not worrying about blending or anything, because you need sharp lines to make this look metallic. I hope that makes sense. And now I'm adding the pinks. This hand isn't just blue, and on first glance you might not really notice any of these extra colors, but it's actually reflecting some pinks, some oranges, some yellows. So I'm also trying to be careful to add these, bearing in mind I can't actually layer with these markers at all. And now at this stage of the process, I've got the purples and I'm really liking how this is looking. I think the markers have formed a really nice base. The color payoff has been really nice. The blend isn't great, but I'm not mad at it for this piece. But this is a good time to do the background. And I have mistakenly picked up my oil pastels in this. Okay, reason with me here. I can't use the markers for the background because the markers just don't apply enough pigment. So I need to use something else. From my swatches, I thought the oil pastels actually applied really nice, but you will soon see that was a mistake. They're obviously very scratchy and clearly this isn't the right paper. I need to ask you lot that happen to make good art with oil pastels, because I don't understand. Every time I pick them up, I just feel like it is awful. Let me know if you want to see a full video of me trying oil pastels. Because one thing about me and my channel, I'm gonna try it. Now that the background is entirely covered up, I genuinely feel like I've ruined this piece. I'm trying to layer to get rid of any white spaces that I can see, but it's feeling impossible. At this point, I think this is the maximum amount of layering, and so I'm going to try my Zest It pencil blend. This is something I've used in the past, and I used it when I was doing my crayons drawing that I showed you, the lips, earlier in the video. And it worked really well to blend those out. So I've got high hopes for this. However, from applying it, I can see that it is not moving the pigment at all. This just comes down to the quality of the oil pastels. It's just separating. I'm trying to blot out the excess. It's just not really working out. Do you ever get to a point in the piece where you just feel like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't do this? That is me right now. With the background done, I have to get back to the hand. I think if the hand comes out looking really, really, really good, no one's gonna think about the background, or will they? So I'm trying to layer the different colors, and my biggest challenge here, the in-between shades of blue that I have are too similar, and so you can't really see the different lines of detail, and it's just a mess. But now it's color pencil time. Let me see if these pencils can save me. So I was saying earlier about trying to get really good contrast, and the blue pencil isn't very good, so I'm using the black pencil to try to deepen my darkest blue. I really wish I had a technique for this part of the process, but I really don't. I'm just trying to layer, I'm trying to create more detail where it doesn't exist, and looking from afar, it's like if you close one eye and squint, it's not the worst drawing ever, but at the same time it is obvious that these art supplies are not good at all. But anyway, here is what I came up with, and honestly I think I want to try again with supplies I actually like to show you guys the side by side, because this is not it. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Use code TEMI on KiwiCo. And since you liked this video, you will love this one where I'm coloring a full page with only one color.